Horrors of the battle, stress, comebacks, and overcoming the challenge are the things that made Darkest Dungeon a great game. Red Hook Studios surprised everyone with their exceptional turn-based combat mechanics and put their name on the map. But they didn't just stop there. They even made something more polished and reformed. Something that could set a high bar on turn-based combat games.
Ruin has found you at last. My protege. My friend.
Darkest Dungeon 2 is a roguelike role-playing game developed by Red Hook Studios. This is a sequel to the first game that was released in 2016. Now, the first Darkest Dungeon was an amazing game. The turn-based combat mechanics were so good that I was so addicted to it. I put so many hours into that game and I enjoyed every second of it. Now, the sequel is very different than the first game. In the first game you had a roster of characters which you could increase by upgrading the stagecoach. You could have multiple characters of the same class in a roster, making cool parties like the last Crusade.
Deus Vult!
But in this game, you have one character in each class and you have to make your team around them. Instead of going through hallways of a dungeon, you acquire the stagecoach and go through different areas of the game. The combat mechanics is completely changed. There are now buffs and debuffs instead of flat stats. You can get dodge, block, crit, strength and other tokens to change the tides in a fight. The damage over time effect works like before. You have bleed, blight and the newly added fire damage. The stress threshold has changed from 100 to 10 and when it fills up you either get meltdown or resolved, which affect your relationship with other characters. Relationship system is a fun mechanic that Red Hook added to the game. Your characters form a relationship throughout the region. They could be negative or positive depending on your relationship points. Positive relations can make your run much easier and negative ones make your run miserable. In DD2, every character has 11 skills, which at the start, only 5 of them are unlocked. In order to unlock the other 6, each character needs to go to Shrine of Reflection. Shrines are part of the region and shows you the backstory of your character. At the end of every region, there is an inn which your heroes can rest and prepare for the remaining of the run. There are 5 acts in the game and at the end of every act there is a boss. Each boss is unique and fun in its own way. After defeating them, your quest is complete and you will go back to Altar of Hope, which basically is your Hamlet. You get to unlock new characters, pets, trinkets, and so on. You can also unlock the newly added Hero Path. Now, Hero Paths unlock different ways to play a character. For example, you can choose Surgeon Plague Doctor to deal more damage with Incision, or you can go with Alchemist for consistent blight damage. Every character has 4 paths to play with, so there are a lot of variety of parties you can make your team around. I think Darkest Dungeon 2 is a lot harder than its prequel because it's a lot more damage centric rather than the stunt fiesta that the first game was. You have to take advantage of your tokens to eliminate the enemy. There is no room for stalling. Also, healing is a lot more difficult because most healing abilities have a health threshold to use, so you have to play more carefully. The game challenges you to overcome your failure, especially the first few runs. But when you get the hang of it, your gameplay will be much more smoother. DD2 is not a AAA game. It's made out of passion, and it makes you see that there's a lot of amazing games that are not made by mainstream game studios and publishers. With all that said, it's not like DD2 is a game without any flaws. There are characters like Vestal which feel kinda underwhelming, like Vestal was always your main healer in the first game, but somehow it's very difficult to pull off a heal in this game. Or there are some OP hero paths like Sharpshot Highwayman which is so good that makes you not to choose his other paths. Hopefully Red Hook listens to community and balances the hero paths at some point, but right now with the addition of Binding Blade DLC, the game is in a good and fun state and in time it gets better. Also, I have to give a shout out to Shuffle FM. This guy makes tons of DD content in his channel and basically is a DD god, so make sure to check out his channel. And as always, if you liked watching this video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and all that amazing stuff.